is Allie Cornier. I'm first grade at Link School. I'm writing my letter to Mr. Barbini, my math teacher at Meade School back in 2006. And as a student growing up, I really struggled with math, and just having him as a teacher and the time that he spent and the encouragement that he gave me and the challenges he gave me as well just completely changed my outlook on math in school, and it was part of my story of why I wanted to be a teacher. When people look back on their time as a student, the academics are not what stand out, it's the people. Throughout my elementary through high school years, math concepts were something I just couldn't wrap my head around. I remember getting so frustrated when my work never matched the correct answers, which happened frequently. Before moving to District 54, I remember being at parent-teacher conferences. My teacher told my parents that math was something I would just continue to struggle with because many of the foundational skills were something out of reach. I felt so discouraged, but only in part by the actual idea of struggling with math. What started to sink in is that my teachers were struggling with me. Fast forward to attending Meade Junior High in 2006. I knew going into junior high and into a public school for the first time that it would be a new challenge in itself. I was excited about the change in atmosphere, but knew the challenging concepts of algebra and geometry were looming in the background. I remember sitting in Mr. Barbini's class that very first day. I was so nervous and almost bracing the idea of getting swamped with struggle. But instead, as a class, we took that first day to get to know each other and create a class atmosphere that was comfortable and trustworthy. I thought to myself, maybe this year will be different. I would have never thought that on that day, my outlook on math, school, and teaching would change forever. As the year went on, the math concepts were challenging, but the difference was that I felt like I could go and ask questions and that I was accepted for the way math made sense to me. If the initial lesson was confusing, Mr. Barbini was able to take the time to show me and explain to me the concept of using a strategy that was personalized just for me. He didn't just see me as a number in a class like previous teachers. He cared whether or not I succeeded. And that was the first year I ever received an A in any math class. I learned to have confidence in myself and in my strategies, and that a teacher could have confidence in me as well. Mr. Barbini helped me get involved in extracurricular activities at Meade, as well as support me in my figure skating shows with a few other teachers at the time. It meant so much to me and my family, not only to have support in the classroom, but outside the classroom as well. As a first grade teacher now, one of my favorite subjects to teach is math. I love to be able to equip my students with strategies and help tailor their learning to what makes sense in their brain best. Creating space for learning their interests and letting each student know that they are so much more than just a student in my class is a primary goal every year. Mr. Barbini changed the way I look at learning, which changes the way I now look at teaching, because you're a learner first before you're a teacher. When people look back on their elementary through high school years, the academics aren't what stand out, it's the people. It's the teachers that took the time to make sure that out of a huge class full of kids, work to be done, lessons to be taught, that you knew that you mattered. I feel like that is something Mr. Barbini accomplished in his room and something I strive to accomplish now in mine. Thank you, Mr. Barbini, for taking the time to not only teach math that year, but also what it takes to be a great teacher. Create an open and accepting atmosphere, tailor and differentiate instruction, and most of all, believe in your students. It is truly something that has stuck with me all these years later, and something I strive to instill in my students and my own children now as well.
Yeah, just extremely humbled by this, what a recognition. And I know she's had several amazing teachers in elementary school, junior high, high school, and just to be, thought of as someone that influenced her to go into teaching, it's humbling. It's a lot to take in. I'm proud of her. I remember her working hard, and I remember her balancing, the skating, and I remember her balancing, school, and she always worked hard, and so it was always that easy to go the extra mile to help her out to be successful. And you make an impact as a classroom teacher, but you don't really grasp the lasting impact that you make on people until you're fortunate to get something and recognized like that. So just very humbled, and she was wonderful when I had her as a student. Extremely hard worker, and you know, I'm proud that, you know, she's in education, and I'm really proud she's back in District 54 to, you know, pay it forward.